go snag you some more chairs. You know what? Go to stand. If you would kindly take a seat, we're trying to make sure we have enough chairs for everybody. And if you would start to quiet down, we're getting ready to start. But we want to make sure everybody has a seat first.
I hear everybody running their mouth, so I hear sound.
Okay. Here, it'll take 10 seconds. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
I didn't hear that. Heard it.
Now you got to kill your music.
Oh, here.
Stand behind them.
No, you all sit in front. Yes.
You guys, actually, there's room. There's room for y'all to sit.
There's room for all you to sit. Let's move it to the middle. Yeah, there's room.
Is Carol sitting there? Carol.
Now you want us to sit? Yep.
Wayne. Wayne.
It says something when you call me, that's what I say. Harry.
To the family, relatives, and friends, we, as members of the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, are here to pay tribute of affection and honor to our brother, Chuck Gudgel, who has passed through the shadows into everlasting peace. At this time, we should pause in thoughtful review of the principles we uphold. The faith we follow teaches us to live in the bonds of charity with all mankind. To do justice to one another raises the standard of human excellence everywhere. Brotherly love is the torch that sheds light over the whole pathway of life. Fidelity inspires us to be true to one another and to treasure the memory of the departed. In fraternal recognition of the part borne by our brother in all our work and bowing to the decree of an all-wise God, I ask you to listen in reverence to the chime of the 11th hour. With us, it is the hour of remembrance.
It is the hour of recollection.
That's it.
That's it right now.
Please rise. The chaplain will lead us in prayer. Michael, wait.
Our Father who art in heaven, we come to thee and humbly ask thy blessing upon this service. May the passing of our brother inspire new devotion to the fraternal duties entrusted to our keeping. May those who mourn be comforted with thy tender love and mercy. From the darkness of this hour, lead us into the sunshine of thy presence. As thou art with us through life, so bring us at last, where we are united in bonds of eternal peace. Amen.
You may be seated. Inner guard. Give it a second. You will call the name of our departed brother.
Chuck Gudgel.
In vain we call. He has passed into the light, which is beyond the valley of the shadow of death. The places that have known him shall know him no more. And again, we realize that in the midst of life, we are in death. That he who watches over our destinies will again, on that great day, unite the chain of fraternal love so recently broken. Esteemed leading knight, in summing up the life work of our departed brother, what record shall be made in the name of charity?
I testify to his faithful adherence to the cause of charity.
Esteemed loyal knight, how shall his devotion to justice be measured?
As the just deserve justice, I declare that he was faithful to justice.
Esteemed lecturing knight, representing the principles of brotherly love, what is the testimony from your station?
By the fraternal tie that bounds him to us, I pronounce him faithful to brotherly love.
Lodge Esquire, what is your tribute to our brother and his patriotism?
Who loves his country's flag has not lived in vain. This flag is first in our hearts and loyal Americans, and guard our altar as loyal elks. May it clustering stars and streaming light guide the immortal soul of our departed brother on his journey through eternity. This side or this side?
Doesn't matter. As a tribute to his fidelity, I bring the amaranth encircled by clinging ivy. These tokens we deposit with him in enduring friendship, the amaranth typifying our belief in the immortality of the soul, and the ivy symbolizing brotherly love. Sleep, my brother, peace be with you. My friends, the incident of death is not more mysterious than the incident of birth. We were born to die. We die that we may live. This philosophy of human existence remains unchanged throughout the passing centuries. The birth of an individual does not greatly impress us, but when death invades our ranks, we are appalled. It is not life that causes us to pause, but the loss of it.
Take a deep breath.
Likewise, the clinging faith of immortality has been our solace and our inspiration since the first time of flight began. Although a natural and inevitable event, the final summons always comes to those we love with a blow that seems to crush our hearts. We think gentle thoughts. We speak tender words. We halt. We wonder. We reason with faith. We become reconciled as we realize that the loss of life is not the end, but a beginning. In this simple and reverent ceremony, it is not my purpose to deliver a personal eulogy for Chuck, who no longer answers when we call his name, Chuck Gudgel. He was an American citizen, responsive to every duty of citizenship and brotherhood. He took his vow before the antlers. He attested his obligation upon the great book of law. He pledged allegiance to the American flag. True, our brother has journeyed away from us. His dream ship, frail or staunch, has sailed to another shore. The clock of his days has stopped. Upon its dial, the motionless shadows mark 11. With us, the golden hour of recollection. Whatever may have been his accomplishments, we are his treasurers. We will cherish his good deeds, forget his faults, and inscribe his name upon the tablets of love and memory. As he was a true to us, let us always remain true to him. Speaking for the surviving members of his lodge, I say goodbye. Goodbye until the hour of 11 shall regularly return. Thou art I, and I am thou. Thy name shall never be forgotten. May we ever act with charity, justice, brotherly love, and fidelity. Officers, I now ask that you place your ivy on the altar. I put mine's up there too, but they have not.
I know. I forgot to get us.
It's all good.
You know, the other officers.
You guys go. This concludes the elk portion of our service. I have been asked to open the floor. I ask that you please be brief. We'll bring the microphone a little closer if you would like to say a few words. After that is done, if you are a member of an Elks Lodge anywhere in the United States, we have a basket of ivy. We'd ask that you would come and lay a piece of ivy also in front of Chuck's picture. So if anybody would like to speak. Rick is going to go first. Mr. Labreezy. There's the mic. Yeah, but he wants to record. Oh, your notes are here. I was going to say because he wants to record you.
You want me to go over and get a tissue from home? Because I didn't bring my purse.
Hello, my name is Rick Labrizzi, and I have had the privilege of knowing Chuck I messed up. I've had the privilege of knowing Chuck, Marilyn, Gina, Shanna, and Butch for the past 40 years. In 1985, I joined Chuck on a musical adventure, which was not only fulfilling to our audiences, but to myself as well. Chuck taught me so much about music patterns and was always patient in his teaching style, except for when he and Chuck Mills told me to put my guitar down and just sing. Many times we were joined by other really great musicians like Tim Gross on sax, Alan Adamson on sax, Paul Smith on trumpet, Sammy Haddad on vocals, and many others whose names I cannot remember. Chuck and I went on to play on and off together for the next 30 years. We were known as Two's Company, Three's Company, sometimes Four's Company and Five's Company. And the Elkerleys, who many of you remember, consisted of Chuck Gudgel, Chuck Mills, Mike Phillips, Sammy Haddad, Angelo Cianfranco, Kevin Akerson, John Huber, Alan Adamson, Rob Labrizzi, and Earl Mills. We were also, when Chuck and I were playing here, which was quite often, we were known as Three's Company, or CRC, which was comprised of Chuck, myself, and Chuck Mills, thus CRC. Sometimes Chuck would refer to us as Ground Chuck, Rick Chuck, and Up Chuck. It wasn't funny. Where's my Marilyn? There you are. Your husband, your father, your grandpa, your father-in-law, your brother-in-law, your uncle, your cousin, your friend and mine, what was he to all of us? He was a wonderful husband for over 60 years. He was a caring and involved father and the grandest father-in-law, brother-in-law, uncle, cousin, and friend anyone could ever ask for. He was a man who was willing to put anyone, anything, and anyone and help anyone at the drop of a hat. He was a man who could have the most calming voice, the most dominant roar, and I know that because I had been a recipient of both. He was a man that cared strongly about his family, his friends, and their needs. He was possibly one of the most giving people most of us have ever known. Chuck's relationship with everyone here, including myself, is and always will be very meaningful. He never boasted or bragged, nor did he ever look for any form of reciprocation at all. I think every person in this room can think of a time that Chuck had unselfishly helped them in one way or another. We will miss Chuck, but more important than that, we will cherish our memories of him, his loving family, who I love dearly, his friendship and his work ethic, and of course his music. Although we all know Chuck has provided for each of us a warm and lasting memory of a man who was filled with love, caring for his family and his friends. Although Chuck is gone from our sight, he will always be in our hearts. Thank you.
Ooh, there's a lot of people. All right. For those of you who don't know me, I am Gina and Scott's daughter, Chuck's granddaughter. This week, we said goodbye to the best man I have ever known. Sorry, Dad. He was a man of few words, yet somehow he always knew exactly how to make me feel like the most loved and cherished girl in his life. While my grandpa was a grandpa to all, there are only 5 people in this room who truly know what it was like to have Chuck as a grandfather. My brothers, Riley and Corbin, my cousins, Brianna and Braylon, and myself. And the 5 of us were blessed beyond measure. We did not just have a grandfather, we had him, a man whose quiet strength, humor, and unwavering love shaped our lives in ways we will carry forever. Growing up, I came to my grandparents' house more times than I can even count, and I told my mom recently that it feels like I spent 20% of my life in Titusville, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Between visiting for 2 or 3 weeks at a time during school trackouts, spending every summer here, celebrating the holidays, and so many other trips, this place became a second home to me. My grandparents welcomed me each time with the warmest hugs, the biggest smiles, and experiences that truly filled my childhood with magic. We shared memories I will never forget: Cirque du Soleil shows, Blue Man Group, SeaWorld days, Disney cruises, and countless adventures that made my childhood feel full and vibrant. But the moments I hold closest aren't the big ones. They're the ones that belonged only to us, me and my grandpa. Sitting at the Elks Lodge bar with my grandpa as he ordered me a Shirley Temple every single time. Hearing the sound of him playing the piano echo through the house while he very patiently waited for me and Grandma to get ready. The way he would quietly hand me a coin without me even having to ask so I could play that claw machine at Denny's. Watching him click through commercials on the TV faster than any of us could blink. And always hearing him tell me how proud he was of me, just for being me. I would give anything to hear him play the piano one more time, to hug him, to hear him call me Pumpkin, to watch him shake his head when we embarrassed him or surprised him, and to experience all the little moments that made him who he was. But I know that he will always be here with me. I'm the luckiest girl to have known him, and even luckier to have been loved by him. Hold down the fort for us in heaven, Grandpa, until we meet again one day. Thank you.
Surprise, everybody, it's me. Sorry, I had to break it up. Grandpa would not want y'all crying. So if you don't know who I am, a lot of people do. My name is Corbin, and Chuck was my grandpa. Charles Chuck Gudgel was my grandpa. Sure, you have one too, but Chuckles was mine. So listen up. Everything about him was so silly, but also so dignified. His glistening white hair, his dark gallows humor, his interesting, albeit comfortable fashion choices, his stubborn personality, his 7-Eleven runs, his musical sensibilities, his unwavering loyalty, his addiction to a good game of solitary. I could keep going. It's a weird feeling saying goodbye when someone leaves this earth. So today and for the rest of my life, I'll say, see you soon. I wish I could find a first memory in my mind with him, but the amazing thing I'm starting to realize is I have too many moments colliding to give you just one. I loved how he would smell when he would come home from work and crash into his chair in the kitchen. I loved how he taught and fell in love with music and discovered theater with me. I loved how our relationship led me to meeting so many in this room. I loved how in quiet moments he told me how much I was worth it, and I loved how, regardless of the time of the year, I was always welcome in his home. Grandpa was a quiet presence with a heart that was as deep as an ocean trench. He fought for everyone to be seen, heard, and loved, even if you barely knew him. My favorite story is when he bought an entire Christmas tree, lights, and ornaments for my grandmother as they started dating because her family couldn't afford one. If he believed, befriended, loved, or even just wanted to help you, you had his full attention. As some know, he opted for hospice, and I won't talk about the last moments in a public forum, but I will say how proud I was of him. He decided how he would head out, and God, it looked like heaven, surrounded by those of us who are most obsessed with him. I'll miss the way his eyes rolled when he first saw me to make me laugh, the way he would push my grandmother's boundaries and comfort zone, how he was always at our events with the biggest smile, and how a day wasn't truly finished without a good check on what was new on the DVR. So now, that was so good until that point, great. So now I do what I always dreaded, walk along without him here physically, and damn, it will hurt, but thank God it does. To be so loved and love someone so deeply, how cool is that? See you soon, Grandpa. I hope the view is amazing and the band was in tune.
Man. First of all, Chuck was not only my brother-in-law, he was my dad, he was my uncle, everything all in one. He always did everything with me and Donnie, and Marilyn would get so upset. He'd give us quarters to get rid of us so he can make out with Marilyn. The only 2 times that he was real mad at me the whole, 60 years, is when one time I went to spend the night with him and I had to bring my dog. And he had a 64, you probably remember, 64 Ford Galaxy station wagon. Excellent condition, prime condition. And my dog started barking in the middle of the night. And he decided to put my dog in his car so they can get some sleep. The next morning when he went to work, all I heard was Ronnie. He was mad. My dog had ate his dash. And it was one of them styrofoam dashes with the leather dash. And he was so mad. He got me started out at New York Donner, and he wanted me to be his crane mechanic helper. After about 3 weeks, he said, Ronnie, I don't think you're going to make a crane mechanic. He says, I think you'd rather be an operator, and besides, I'm losing too many wrenches because I'd get mad and chunk them. And the last time was we worked together for 25 years or more, and we rode back and forth to work with each other. I've always wanted to do it. He pulled out on US 1. I didn't know what it meant, but he was a big-time golfer, and across the street was a driving range. And as soon as we pulled out on US 1, I rolled the window down and I hollered 4 real loud. And he said, Ronnie, what are you doing? I said, well, I've always wanted to do it. He said, what's it mean? He said, it means duck. And I didn't know that. So that's the only 2 times that he was really mad at me. And he will always be in my heart forever. And he was the best man in the world to me. Thank you.
Don't worry, Gina, I have my 2 minutes timed. Okay. Many of you know me. I'm an elk, and I'm also Chuck's sister-in-law. I want to tell you some good stories about Chuck. Chuck, Marilyn, Tom, and I took a cruise to Alaska. I have a lot of these stories, but I'll make it short because Gina's going to get mad if I don't. She warned us, everybody. We docked in Alaska from the cruise ship. Chuck wanted to go on a seaplane on a glacier. And of course, Chuck and Tom weren't interested in going. So Chuck, with his simple little look and tilt, it was my turn to go to a glacier. And it was just him and I in the seaplane. We landed on the glacier, and we got out, and he turned to me, and he said, "I'm so proud of you for doing this with me. If you've never had anybody tell you they were proud of you," when he told me that, it went straight to my core. Chuck wasn't a verbal man, but when he told me that, I knew I was loved by him. Another story, we went to Charleston. We took a van trip through cross country. Of course, Chuck was the driver. Nobody could drive except for Chuck. We ended up in Charleston. You know this? Remember this story, Marilyn? You know it's coming. Okay, and I have a picture to prove it. We pull into a gas station, and a typical man, he goes by a dumpster. Sure enough, I have a picture to prove that, too. We made it to El Paso to, forgive me, I can't think of the, what's the big thing in El Paso? The Alamo, thank you. The Alamo was one of the tourist places we wanted to hit. Unfortunately, it was closed. You have an idea of what's coming? Tom and Chuck were determined to go in. I have a picture of them. Tom is holding Chuck's foot, and Chuck is trying to get over the fence, the stone fence. I have proof of that too. What I wanted to leave you with is, I don't know if all of you know of Chuck's musical history. You know the movie Dirty Dancing and all that 50s era playing in the Catskills? Chuck was doing that. I don't know if you knew that, but he was R&B. He was New York. The man had talent, but I didn't know this, he couldn't read music. He played by his ear. He played by tone. He could hear a song and replay it. One of the greatest stories I've heard from Marilyn was Chuck wanted her to come up there with the babies. Of course, a lot of people at that time didn't have a lot of money. So as they say in the movies, where did she put the babies? In the dresser drawers of the hotel. Chuck loved having her with him. Chuck loved having you with him. As I look around this room, we could all share the memories, and I could look at you and remember individual memories that you had with Chuck. And I know my man, Chuck, is looking around this room, and he would be overwhelmed with the amount of love that's in here. I've been an elk for a long time. I have never seen this many people come to a memorial for an elk. And Chuck was the finest elk, through and through. But he was a better man as a husband, a father, a grandfather, father-in-law. I wish many of you could have known him as we did. And before he left, I told him, I said, Chuck, watch over us. And I was holding his hand. And he squeezed it, and he went like this. So, don't forget today. Keep the family in your hearts. Come by and visit. And I just want to say, thank you all for being here.
How'd I do on time, Gina?
Too long.
Just because I want to make sure that he can hear me. I have a very brief story, and I talked to Marilyn about this when I went and saw Chuck last week. So Chuck was our lodge musician for, I don't even know, a ton of years, okay? And I came in as my first year as chaplain, and I was so scared. Our first initiation, I'm sitting over there, my knees are shaking, and I'm like, stop shaking. You got to pray, stop shaking. And I was so scared, and Chuck's like, Heather, I'm going to make you laugh. I'm like, no, Chuck, I'm not. He's like, nope, before the night's done, I'm going to make you laugh. Well, if any of you that's gone through our service knows that there is a part where you parade around to each station. Well, Chuck, in an inevitable sense of humor, decides that night, my very first night to pray in front of everybody in initiation, to start playing the first song, da-doom, 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 da-doom. And these people are walking around, da-doom, da-doom, da-doom. And then the next, as they continue on, he goes, and I just cracked a smile out of him. I'm just like, oh, Chuck. And next time they start moving, he goes, I'm like, oh my goodness. And so and by then I'm laughing. And afterwards he goes, see, I told you I was going to make you laugh. And that's how he was to me. He always had a smile. Every single time I saw him, he had a hug for me, a smile, and a good word. And I will take that with me. He is part of the reason why I love in every pore being an elk, because I love what we stand for. And he was an elk through the truest form that you can be an elk. And if I can be one smidgen of the elk that he was, my life will have been well lived because of him. Is there anyone else that would like to say a few words before we close?
Hi, I'm Mike Kenny. I met Chuck about 5 years ago. My wife and I bought a home here in Titusville, and Chuck came down, and he had been cutting the grass there before and wanted to know if he could continue doing it. So I said, yeah, go for it. And, he cut the grass a couple times, and during those times, he stopped, and we chit-chatted quite a bit. Pardon me? Is that better? Ah, there we go. Anyway, we got to know each other pretty good, just a few times that he was cutting the grass, and we thought, well, geez, we ought to get our wives together, and so we did. And from that point on, Chuck and Marilyn and my wife Julie and I, we became a foursome. We did everything together for the next 5 years. We went out to dinner and a lot, and we went to Chuck's favorite place, Salsa's, had margaritas, and we would come here to have Jack and Coke, Chuck's favorite drink. We only was with Chuck for 5 years, and was, way too short a time. I wish we could have known him long ago, listening to your stories here. He was quite a character. But at any rate, I consider him one of my best friends, and I will miss him terribly. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name's Angelo Sanfracco. I'm an Elk, also a member of the Elkley Brothers. I was in a band at the time. Well, first of all, when I joined the Elks Lodge 34 years ago, I came in with a bunch of bowlers and got to be known for bowling, and then it came about that they also found out that I played in a band. So Mike Phillips and Chuck Gudgel show up at one of my gigs with the idea of like, why don't we form a band for the Elks Lodge? Of course, they had me when they walked in the door because I figured, that'd be a good thing to play with everybody at the lodge. But then thinking about Chuck Gudgel playing keyboard, because he played on the weekends with a couple of the fellas here like Labrizzi and Ed, and I think D. Harris was playing at the time. So I'm watching Chuck play there every weekend when I'd come in, and he's all over the place. And not only was he playing all the instrumentation, he's got the drums. It's like, wow, what am I going to do in this band? So I said, Chuck, what am I going to do in the band? You're the keyboard player. He said, no, I'm going to play bass. And it's like, you're going to play bass. I mean, you're a pretty damn good keyboard player. I said, that's all right. He said, you play the keyboard, I'll play bass. Nevertheless, we got together, we formed the band called the Elkley Brothers, and what was nice about it is that we had 2 times the people that were here on our first gig. And of course, a lot of our audience is now gone, but it was nice to have that happen. It was tough to try to recreate that, and I tried to do that this last year. And luckily enough, I was able to get all of the members back, except for the ones that had passed. We had people come in from all over, and it was really nice to do that. The best thing about it was that Chuck came up to us and Mike came up to us, because Mike actually came up and sang, but Chuck, it was just terrible to see that such a good musician was so crippled up and not able to sing, but he came and enjoyed us. And that memory will stay with me. One thing I'd like to leave all of you with, okay, because I've gone through some of the stuff that your family's going through. Memories are created for a reason. Okay, when you think you're having that roller coaster ride, just remember the good times, because it's the good times that God gave us the memory for. And believe me, you'll really trust on that. Spend some time with yourself. Remember him as he was. Thank you.
My first recollection of Chuck is I got to go on a trip with Gib, Marilyn's dad, out to Little Rock, Arkansas to help Chuck and Marilyn get ready to move back to Titusville. And so we got him back here, and I didn't realize Chuck was such a musician until I think it was mid to late 1960s. He was in a band called, I believe it was Jericho Jazz Singers. They were performing at the, I don't know how many of you remember, the Imperial Towers. Well, they were performing there, and they sounded just like the 5th edition. I mean, they were amazing. I got to go on another trip to New York City with Gib, Chuck, and the band. They were performing up there, and that was quite a trip. Chuck was an amazing man, an amazing musician. It's going to be missed.
I know, right? So, good evening. I'm Gina, Chuck's oldest daughter, sometimes referred as the bossy one, but it's okay.
Nurse Ratchet.
My brother and my sister, Shannon Butch. My dad was such a man of few words, but then when he did speak, it mattered. He never really had to be the center of attention, but he just was so quiet. But when he spoke beautifully. And he was often asked to speak at weddings and give toasts and speeches. And you're not going to hear that from us tonight. We're not really capable of doing that right now. But on behalf of my mom, who's been the true hero of this year, taking care of my dad and us, we just really want to thank you for loving on him and letting him love you the way he knows how, through music and through the Elks. We are sorely sad and going to miss him, but at the same time, we are so proud of all the lives he touched in his silent kind of way. So thank you for being here. Thank you for honoring him today. We were shocked at the turnout, and he would tell you to keep on playing and listening to the music, and that's how we can remember him and his kindness. So thank you.
I possibly have, is this on?
It's on. Everybody can hear you.
I possibly have a strange request. For 35 years, I had a daycare in my home and had practically a nervous breakdown when we retired. I just kept seeing my babies. Tonight, I would like each one of my babies and their mother or dad to come up here. So one more time, they will tell you that Chuck's name is not Chuck, it is Papa Chuck. And I am Miss Marilyn. So Harper, you want to start? Just come up here, stand here, and go back to your seat. Mariah's here. Lots of my babies are here. And so often I am in a store and I hear, Miss Marilyn, Miss Marilyn. And I know it's me. This is one of my babies. I had her for a long time. And here comes some more of my babies. But I just want you guys to know that love is in many ages. There comes one of my older babies. But these guys loved me, but they also loved Papa Chuck. When he came home at 5 every day, everybody wanted Papa Chuck. So I want all you guys during your life to pray for my babies so they will turn out as good as their parents did. So thank you guys for coming to my house every day. Michelle crawled in my bed when she had a headache. She'd come to my house, crawl in the bed. Where's Michelle? She's in bed. But that is how our house is. And now we have new neighbors that we love. So thank you guys for every love you guys have given me and the love you have given Chuck and I. So.
Is there anybody else that would like to say anything? Going once, going twice? Sold. That's better. So we do have a memory book in the back, and we would like everybody to sign it. And what we would also like is if you feel comfortable, when you sign it, if you sign it, if there is a special memory that you have of my dad, even, it doesn't matter, funny, hilarious, whatever, if you could please write down that memory, because that would mean a lot for my mom to read later. Because now our focus is on my mom, and please sign it because I know she would really, really appreciate looking at that in the future. And thank you everyone for coming. I've been sitting up here and I just turned around and looked and I was shocked at how many people were here. And y'all are all amazing. Thank you.
Before we close, I have a couple of housekeeping notes for you, please. If you are an elk, make sure you get a piece of ivy and lay it on the altar. We do have some food that we will be bringing out. We used all of our chairs. If you'll notice, the back room is open. So make sure you bring a chair if you're going to sit in the back room at the table. This is an amazing turnout, and I can only imagine Chuck's up there elbowing. Look at all those people. Look at all those people. On behalf of, I'm the exalted ruler here, and on behalf of the Elks, we welcome you and thank you for coming and helping us celebrate Chuck. And make sure you get some good food and love on the family. God bless y'all.
Hey, everybody, don't run off. Don't run off. Everybody stay seated just for another minute. I can't get away with not getting a good picture of everybody. Hey, everybody, please stay seated. We want to take one picture from back here. Thank you.
He wants to get a picture. Stay seated. Everybody freeze for a minute, please, because he wants to get a picture of everybody.
You already get us?
Yeah. He got us once we
You already
sat.
got us, right?
Yes, he got us once we sat.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know the sound of my voice. If you could please sit down. Everybody, please sit down. We're going to take a photo. Please sit down. I'm going to keep making you laugh. Please sit down. I know you can hear me. I can be a little bit louder. Sit down.
Everybody, give me one last wave goodbye. Thank you. God bless you all.
Don't forget, if you're an elk, come get a piece of ivy and leave it on the altar, please.
Good job, Heather.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you need me for anything else?
Be my bodyguard so I can get out of here one day.
Can I give this to you to share with
Thank you. I try. I'm so sorry I lost it. I tried really, really hard.
Yeah, that's right. She was, right.
It's just good stuff. I'm glad they had that.
Yes, it is.
I'll get out of your way. Don't worry about it. You're so welcome.
Thank you so much. Let me put this right here. Thank you for, well, it might not fit. Don't worry, make it fit. Thank you for taking that off our, it's not going to fit, Brian, but, okay.
Oh, gosh, there you go.
Thank
Where
you
there's a
so
will,
much
there's
for
a
taking
way.
it off our plate. That was lovely.
God bless you guys. I just hope you stay close together and heal together.
Yeah,
And
we will. We've done a lot of that. We've been with them every, Shannon and I, I'm around them constantly this last week. So, you leaving?
I'll pray for you guys.
All right. Thank you so much.
sign for memories.
It was all the way in the back I saw.
Oh, it's in the back. Okay.
All the way in the back. There's a table.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I thought I'd get a seat, but it was packed. I was expecting it to be packed enough.
I think, yeah.
I was checking my phone in between. I was
Thank
like,
you.
yep, we're still there.
I usually don't fly blind, so it's usually works, but you just hate to trust it.
This sacred opium, you know? That's how they do it. They gotta ruffle their feathers and
They have their system. I kind of saw once. I saw what they were trying to do. Yeah, I was actually only going to kill it. Ready? Is that good? You got everything?
I think it's good. Yeah.
I went around and got the pictures and the signing book and the food and all of that.
I didn't want to talk smack. I'll just talk smack. So
All it hears is blah, blah,
and it's
blah.
the last 5 seconds.
And